Eat to Live, the amazing nutrient-rich program for fast and sustained weight loss by Joel Fuhrman, MD. Picture Julia at 60 years old feeling like her body had completely betrayed her. Her life had become a nightmare of hospital rooms and emergency calls. 3 heart attacks in just 3 months. Over 3 years, doctors had tried 5 different angioplasties, desperately trying to keep her arteries open. The last procedure nearly killed her from internal bleeding. She was swallowing 10 different medications daily, and the chest pain was so severe she couldn't even walk to the corner. At 225 pounds, she was exhausted, terrified, and honestly wondering if she'd have been better off just letting go during surgery. She felt like a prisoner in her own body. There was no hope left. This wasn't a life. It was just slowly fading away. Then she stumbled upon a book, written by a doctor named Joel Fuhrman. It seemed like a long shot, maybe her very last one. She'd been disappointed before, tried so many things. But desperation has a way of making you willing to try anything. So she dove in, completely committed. 3 months later, her chest pain had vanished. She went from struggling to walk a single block to easily strolling 2 miles. 7 months in, she dropped 90 pounds. Today, Julia weighs 120 pounds. She walks 3 miles daily, practices yoga regularly, and hasn't touched a single medication. She describes it as falling in love with life all over again. A life she's absolutely certain she wouldn't be living without discovering this one powerful concept. What Julia uncovered completely contradicts almost everything we've been told about dieting and health. It's a straightforward, life-changing truth that doesn't just help you shed pounds, but could actually reverse diseases we've been told we have to live with forever. By the time we finish today, you'll understand the single most important equation for your health. It's a formula so elegant yet so transformative that Dr. Fuhrman compares it to Einstein's famous equation for the world of nutrition. It explains why every diet you've tried has eventually failed, and it holds the key to unlocking a level of vitality you might have given up on. This isn't about squeezing into smaller jeans. This is about eating to truly live. Let's start with an uncomfortable reality. Despite all our wealth and advanced medicine, we in the Western world are among the sickest people on Earth. Most adults are overweight, and nearly a third of our kids are obese. We pour over $40 billion annually into weight loss programs, yet 95% of people who lose weight gain it all back, often with extra pounds, within 3 years. It's a bizarre contradiction, right? We're surrounded by more food than ever, yet we are, as Dr. Fuhrman describes it, utterly and completely malnourished. This brings us to the first huge misconception keeping us stuck. We assume being overweight is about quantity. We think the problem is eating too much. So what do? We try to eat less. We measure portions obsessively, count every calorie, and torture ourselves with tiny, unsatisfying meals. We're miserable. We're constantly hungry, battling intense cravings, and eventually, our willpower crumbles. Then we blame ourselves. We think we're the failure. But Dr. Fuhrman reveals something revolutionary. He says for most people, being overweight isn't caused by how much you eat, but by what you eat. Imagine 2 400-calorie meals. One is a few bites of a cheeseburger. The other is an enormous, heaping bowl of spinach, eggplant, and beans. Which one do you think will actually fill your stomach and tell your brain you're satisfied? The cheeseburger disappears in seconds, barely registering in your stomach. That vegetable bowl is so massive you might not even finish it. This is the crucial difference between foods that are calorically dense versus foods that are nutrient dense. This leads us to the beating heart of Eat to Live. It's an elegant, simple formula that, once you grasp it, transforms how you see every meal. The formula is: health equals nutrients divided by calories. That's it. That's the entire philosophy distilled into one equation. Your long-term health isn't about obsessing over fat grams, carbs, or even calories. It's determined by the nutrient density of your diet. Let's unpack that. Calories are energy from food, and they come from just three sources: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Nutrients, however, are the non-caloric treasures: vitamins, minerals, fibers, and something truly remarkable called phytochemicals. Every food you eat can be scored on this scale. Does it deliver tons of nutrients for the calories it contains, or does it pack in calories with barely any nutrients? The secret to permanent weight loss and vibrant health is to eat, and I mean eat generously, foods that are high in nutrients and low in calories. When you do this, something almost magical happens. You eat more food than before, but you lose weight. Why? Because your body is finally receiving what it's been desperately craving: nutrients. This brings us to one of nature's most incredible gifts: phytochemicals. The word simply means plant chemicals. For centuries, we knew fruits and vegetables were beneficial, but we didn't really understand why. Now scientists are discovering that plants are loaded with thousands upon thousands of these microscopic compounds. A single tomato contains over 10,000 different phytochemicals. These aren't vitamins or minerals. They're nature's personal defense force. They sweep toxins from our cells, repair damaged DNA, fight cancerous changes, and protect our blood vessels from harm. Dr. Fuhrman calls them nature's magic pills. Here's the catch: you can't buy them in a bottle. You can't condense this complex orchestra of nutrients into a supplement. You only get them from eating a diverse array of whole, natural plant foods. This is why popping vitamin pills doesn't work. For years, scientists noticed that people who ate lots of carrots had low cancer rates. They thought, perfect, it must be the beta-carotene. So they isolated it, put it in pills, and distributed them. But the studies were disasters. In some cases, beta-carotene supplements actually increased lung cancer risk. They'd mistaken the messenger for the message. Beta-carotene wasn't the magic ingredient. It was just an indicator. It signaled that these people were eating diets rich in hundreds of other powerful carotenoids and phytochemicals working together. Extracting one nutrient in isolation can actually throw your entire system out of balance. So if our goal is to maximize the nutrients in our health equation, we need to fill our plates with phytochemical-rich foods. But first, we need to understand the villains, the foods that are all calories and minimal nutrients. The first villain is refined carbohydrates. Think white bread, white rice, pasta, bagels, and crackers. Dr. Walter Willett, Harvard's Nutrition Department chairman, says these should be moved to the sweets section of the food pyramid because metabolically, your body treats them basically like sugar. When you eat whole wheat, your body works to break down the fiber and nutrients. Energy releases slowly, but white bread, stripped of fiber and nutrients, hits your bloodstream like a sugar explosion. Your pancreas scrambles to pump out insulin to clear the sugar from your blood. And what does insulin do? It's a fat storage hormone. It signals your body to pack that energy away as fat. The second villain might surprise you: oils. Yes, even the celebrated olive oil. Dr. Fuhrman is crystal clear: oils are not health foods. They're 100% fat, making them among the most calorically dense foods on the planet. A single tablespoon of olive oil packs 120 calories and virtually zero nutrients. He uses a striking illustration. When you eat fat, your body stores it with shocking efficiency. It takes dietary fat, and, almost unchanged, deposits it on your hips and waist. Scientists can literally biopsy your body fat and tell you whether it came from a pig, a cow, or an olive. It really does go straight from your lips to your hips. This doesn't mean all fat is terrible. We need fat. But we should get it from whole foods like avocados, nuts, and seeds, where the fat comes packaged with fiber, vitamins, minerals, and those amazing phytochemicals that protect both the food and us. The final and most controversial villain is overconsumption of animal products. Dr. Fuhrman points to one of the most comprehensive diet studies ever conducted, the China Project. For years, researchers studied 65 different counties in rural China, essentially a living laboratory, because different regions had vastly different diets, from almost entirely plant-based to diets including some animal foods. The findings were astonishing. Researchers found a direct, linear relationship. As animal food in the diet increased, so did rates of Western diseases like heart disease and cancer. Even small increases had noticeable effects. Regions eating the least animal protein were virtually free of these diseases. This brings up the great protein myth. We've all seen those school charts telling us we need meat and dairy for strong muscles and bones. But Dr. Fuhrman asks a simple question. How do Earth's biggest, strongest animals, elephants, gorillas, rhinoceroses, get so massive? They eat green vegetation. The cow you eat didn't consume another cow for protein. It ate grass. All protein on this planet ultimately originates from plants. When you compare them calorie for calorie, broccoli has nearly twice as much protein as steak. But unlike steak, it's also packed with calcium, iron, vitamin C, fiber, and thousands of cancer-fighting phytochemicals. What about calcium? We're told we need milk for strong bones. Yet data shows that countries with the highest dairy consumption, like the United States, also have the highest rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures. How is this possible? Dr. Fuhrman explains it's about calcium balance. Animal protein creates a high acid load in our blood. To neutralize this acid, the body does something drastic. It pulls calcium from our bones. So even though you're consuming lots of calcium from dairy, you're losing massive amounts in your urine, you end up in negative calcium balance. Green vegetables, however, are alkaline and rich in usable calcium your body can actually absorb and retain. So if those are the villains, who are the heroes? If you ranked all foods based on the health equation, the undisputed champions, scoring a perfect 100 out of 100, are dark leafy greens. Kale, collards, spinach, romaine lettuce. These are the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Dr. Fuhrman says the single food most strongly associated with longevity in human studies is raw, leafy greens. This is why he tells patients to put a sign on their refrigerator. The salad is the main dish. We're not talking about a tiny side salad. We're talking about a massive bowl, aiming for 1 pound of raw vegetables every day. Close behind the greens are other vegetables, fresh fruits, and beans. Beans, particularly, are a dieter's best friend. They're packed with fiber and something called resistant starch, which acts like fiber and isn't fully absorbed, helping stabilize blood sugar and keeping you full for hours. This all sounds wonderful, in theory, but we all know the real challenge. That gnawing feeling in your stomach, the headache, the irritability, when you haven't eaten in a few hours, that sensation we call hunger. But what if that feeling isn't actually hunger? Dr. Fuhrman makes a crucial distinction between what he calls toxic hunger and true hunger. When you live on processed foods, caffeine, and other low-nutrient substances, your body becomes addicted. Like any addiction, when you stop taking the substance, when your digestive system empties, you experience withdrawal. You get headaches, fatigue, stomach cramps, and mental fog. This is toxic hunger. And what's the fastest way to eliminate those uncomfortable feelings? Eat more of the same junk food that caused them. It's a vicious cycle, making overeating almost inevitable. True hunger is completely different. It's not felt in your head or stomach. It's a gentle, pleasant sensation in your throat and mouth. It's your body's calm, clear signal that it's ready for more fuel. When you eat in response to true hunger, food tastes incredibly delicious, and you naturally stop when satisfied. The goal of the Eat to Live plan, especially in the first 6 weeks, is breaking the addiction to toxic hunger. You might feel worse before feeling better. For a few days, you may experience withdrawal symptoms, but on the other side is freedom. Freedom from cravings, freedom from food addiction, and the ability to finally listen to your body's real needs. The plan is straightforward. For 6 weeks, you commit fully. Unlimited raw vegetables, unlimited cooked greens, and non-starchy vegetables. At least 4 fruits daily, and at least a cup of beans. You limit starchy vegetables and whole grains to just 1 serving daily, and have a small amount of raw nuts or seeds. You eliminate all animal products, dairy, oils, and between-meal snacks. It sounds extreme, but the results motivate people to stick with it. Losing 15 or 20 pounds in that first month isn't uncommon, but more importantly, people start feeling alive again. Take Ronnie, for example. He weighed over 300 pounds and had already undergone quadruple bypass surgery. But he went right back to smoking, drinking, and eating fried foods. He ended up back in the hospital for more procedures, and chest pains returned. He was spiraling downward. Then he found this book. In 1 year, he lost 140 pounds. His chest pain stopped completely, and he got off all medications. Or Scott, who weighed 501 pounds. He couldn't walk more than a few feet, and his wife had to help him shower and dress. He considered bariatric surgery but felt like he'd be handing his problem to someone else. He found Eat to Live and decided to solve it himself. In just over 3 years, he lost 333 pounds. He got his life back. These stories aren't just about weight loss. They're about disease reversal. Dr. Fuhrman sees it daily in his practice. Over 90% of his type 2 diabetic patients get off insulin within the first month. Patients with high blood pressure normalize their readings and stop medication. People suffering for years from chronic headaches, fatigue, and autoimmune diseases find relief for the first time. Because when you give the body the right fuel, when you flood it with the nutrients it's been craving, its miraculous self-healing ability unleashes. After the initial 6 weeks, you move to the Life Plan, built on the 90% rule. You aim to get at least 90% of calories from unrefined, nutrient-dense plant foods. The other 10% allows for imperfection, a small piece of fish, a slice of bread, a special occasion meal. It treats those low-nutrient foods as condiments, not the main event. This isn't a temporary diet, it's a re-education. It's about understanding that food isn't just fuel, it's information. It's the instructions you give your body every single day on how to build, repair, and protect itself. When you step back and look at the nutrition world, it feels incredibly complicated, doesn't it? One day fat is the enemy, the next it's carbohydrates. High protein, low protein, keto, paleo. It's a storm of conflicting advice, leaving most of us confused and powerless. The true genius of Eat to Live is how it cuts through all that noise with one beautifully simple principle. Health equals nutrients divided by calories. It's not a gimmick. It's a fundamental law of our biology. It reframes the entire conversation. The goal is no longer about restriction or deprivation. it's about abundance. It asks you to flood your body with the most nutritious, life-giving foods on the planet. What Dr. Fuhrman really offers is a paradigm shift. He's asking us to stop seeing food as a guilty pleasure we must constantly control and start seeing it as the most powerful medicine we possess. He teaches us that our bodies aren't broken, our taste buds aren't broken, they've just been hijacked by a modern food environment designed to be addictive. The concept of toxic hunger versus true hunger is, for me, one of the book's most profound insights. It gives us language for that feeling we all know, that desperate, uncomfortable craving driving us to eat when we're not really hungry. And it gives us hope. It tells us we can break free from that cycle. We can retrain our bodies and taste buds to desire the very foods that heal us. This isn't an easy path. It requires commitment, especially in those first few weeks. It asks you to swim against the current of our entire food culture. But the promise isn't just a number on a scale. The promise is a different kind of life, one with more energy, more clarity, less pain, and a profound sense of control over your own health. So how can you start putting this powerful idea into practice right now, without feeling overwhelmed? Here are a few simple actions you can take today. First, try the salad as the main dish challenge for just 1 week. Don't change anything else about your diet, but commit to eating one huge, nutrient-packed salad every single day. Make it the first thing you eat at lunch or dinner. Fill it with romaine, spinach, tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, and maybe a cup of beans on top. See how it changes your appetite for the rest of the meal. Second, make one simple swap, your dessert. Instead of reaching for cookies or ice cream, end your meal with fruit. A big bowl of berries, a few slices of melon, or a perfectly ripe peach. Let your body rediscover the simple, clean pleasure of nature's candy. You'll satisfy your sweet tooth while flooding your body with nutrients. Third, try the condiment mindset for a few days. If you eat meat or cheese, instead of making it the center of your plate, treat it like a garnish. Use a small amount to add flavor to a large vegetable stir-fry or bean chili. This small mental shift can dramatically change the nutrient-to-calorie ratio of your meals without making you feel like you're giving up your favorite foods entirely. That was a summary of Eat to Live by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. We've touched on the major themes today, but I want to be honest with you. A summary can give you the map, but it can't take you on the journey. The real transformation happens when you immerse yourself in the book. It's in the detailed science, the inspiring patient stories, and the quiet moments where a simple sentence makes you see your lifelong habits in a completely new light. This overview is here to help you decide if this book is a journey you want to take. If anything we've discussed has sparked a sense of hope or curiosity in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning information. It's an experience that can fundamentally change your relationship with food and your own body. Also, if you found this journey valuable, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It tells us we're on the right track and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's keep learning and growing together.